Hi, my name is Elizabeth Storr, and today I'm going to be doing my speech about adopting animals from shelters. Topics for today. First, why adopt? Reasons to adopt, shelter populations, percents of dogs, cats, and small animals in shelters, local adoption centers, how you can help, appropriate adoption, and myths. Why choose adoption for animals? When you adopt an animal in a shelter, you give it a whole new life and you save its life. There are so many animals in shelters: dogs, cats, rabbits, birds, and other small animals. Reasons to adopt. First of all, you save a life. Second, you have so many animals to choose from. You can also choose the age, breed, size, and much more when you adopt. Third, you slow down the cycle of pet overpopulation. Fourth, you make a best friend for life. Fifth, you will change the animal's life forever and give it a forever home. National shelter population. This map shows the percent of shelter population in the United States. The states in white have the least amount of shelter population. The states in light blue have the second most, and the states in dark blue have the most. Percent of dogs in shelters. Data from Animals Count National Database states that in the United States, just under 1 million dogs were taken into shelters between January and August 2020. In 2019, numbers were even closer to 2 million. Percent of cats in shelters. An estimated 3.2 million cats live in shelters nationwide. For every cat, there are 27 pet cats in shelters. 31% of pet cats were adopted from shelters in 2020. Shelters take in up to 130% more cats during warmer months than in winter. Percent of small pets in animal shelters. About 77% of small pets in shelters are made up from rabbits, guinea pigs, birds, rats, and many more types of animals. Most rabbits are surrendered to shelters before and after Easter. Local adoption shelters in our area. Here are 2 local adoption centers near us. The first one is the Oneida County Humane Society. As you can see, I listed their phone number and their address. The second one I have listed is the Vilas County Humane Society. I also listed their phone number and address as well. How you can help. How can you help? If you can't adopt an animal, you can also foster. You can also help by volunteering at a local animal shelter. You can help them find a forever home and give them a second chance at life. You can also adopt. You can adopt an animal. By adopting them, you give them a forever home and you get a new best friend. To be a volunteer, you have to contact a local shelter and fill out some papers. Appropriate adoption. What is appropriate adoption? Appropriate adoption is when you adopt an animal with the intent of giving it a forever home. Not just to get a pet and then rehome it, and if you don't like it, or you just lose interest in it. Adopting an animal is a huge responsibility, and sadly, most dogs in shelters were either abandoned or abused. You should be adopting to give the animal a forever home. How to adopt. How do you go about adopting an animal from a shelter? If you are looking to adopt from online, you will first have to find a local shelter in your area. And then you will need to look through the list of animals in your interest, whether it's a dog, cat, or rabbit, or whatever you are looking for. Next, when you think you have found the right one, You will need to contact your local shelter and meet with the animal in person. If it is the right one for you, the shelter will come and visit your home, and you will have to put in a contract paper for it. And someone who works at the shelter may need to visit your home and make sure it is a fit for the animal to live in and that it will be their forever home. If you don't start looking online, just simply find your local shelter and meet with whatever animals you're interested in, and the rest is the same. If all goes well, you will get to bring home your new forever best friend. Next, we'll be talking about myths. Here are a few myths about shelters. First, all animal shelters are managed by a larger organization such as ASPCA. That is false. Second, all shelter pets are available for adoption are old. That is also false. Third, animal shelters only have dogs and cats. This is also false. Fourth, shelters don't have purebreds. This is also false. The fifth, adoption fees are way too expensive. That is also false. The sixth myth, shelter pets have behavioral problems. That is also false. Number 7, you won't get to know your chosen shelter pet well enough before taking them home. This is also false. These are all myths that people believe, and it can make them not want to adopt a pet. But all of these are indeed false. This is a picture of my uncle with his newly adopted dog. This is his dog Jenny, and this is his new adopted dog. They adopted from the Rhinelander Humane Society. Today I've talked to you about so many different things. I have talked to you about why you should adopt and reasons to adopt. I've also talked about appropriate adoption, percent of dogs in shelters, percents of cats in shelters, percent of small pets, and myths about adopting from a shelter. I hope my speech will change your mind about adoption. Instead of going to a place to buy an animal such as PetSmart, you can go to an animal shelter to rescue an animal. The animal that you adopt will be given a second chance at life and a forever home. And you also get a best friend for life. Thank you for listening to my speech.